Liberty Trust, a not-for-profit organisation, established in 1989 to teach and enable New Zealanders to follow God's financial principles of giving, lending and borrowing without interest. Many New Zealanders, families and ministries find themselves burdened with rent or mortgage interest for most of their working lives, unable to live in the liberty God intended. By following the Bible's principles of working together, sowing and reaping and lending without interest, people can be set free to create a better life for themselves and other members of the body of Christ.
The short-term vision is to bring everybody into their own home, debt-free as young as possible, and to do that we've got to teach sowing and reaping. Long-term, I believe we are equipping the church for something far, far bigger, and what God will do with the storehouse that we're building, only He knows. He commissioned us, He began it. I mean, even I just thought it was too good to be true when I first heard about it, and it was only the mathematics which convinced me that it really did work, you know.
The Trust is based on biblical principles and administered by a group of volunteers that act as trustees and function under the covering of Whakatane Baptist Church and Liberty Life Church, to whom they report.
We always wanted it to be open to everybody, regardless of religion, regardless of race, regardless of socioeconomic background. We really wanted to make it open to everybody.
There's nothing personally in it for me except tremendous satisfaction about seeing other people get freed up in financial areas.
We began as members and we have had a mortgage through the trust, and I'm so committed to it that I'm here now as a trustee.
We're just continually seeing more younger people joining, and the reasons is that their mums and dads have been through it and been successful at it.
We've had people from Australia now looking at what we're doing, and it will go further.
Liberty Trust sends quarterly newsletters for their large family across New Zealand, with biblical financial teaching and testimonies.
So I've been working in Liberty Trust with my husband for 22 years plus, and we haven't lost the passion because the results are so excellent, and we're just so pleased to be able to help people get out of debt, because we're just following the Bible principle which says lend to each other without interest and God will bless you, and we've just seen that true.
We've simulated every possible scenario and we know that God's principles work and the mathematics work.
Charles McDonald investigated the trust and says it's robust, although people need to fully understand that they can't get their donations back.
Once they've accepted that, I don't think there's any risk. There is an expectation of being able to get a mortgage at a later date, and my cash flow analysis showed that those mortgages would be available.
Because Liberty Trust does not borrow, they're not subject to interest rate or credit fluctuations, and every person knows from the outset what their cost will be. Interest rates can rise or fall, but their contribution and repayment rate need not change. How does it work? If you donate $100 for 10 years, that will give you $52,000. Then you'll be offered a loan of 5 times that amount, $260,000. The total cost of the loan? $312,000. But for the same loan through a bank, you'll pay back that same principal of $260,000, but then there's interest on top. At say 6.5% over 25 years, that interest will be $266,662. The total cost of the loan therefore will be $526,662. So when we compare the two, the Liberty Trust loan is more than $214,000 cheaper. And this is the reason why people are able to pay the loan off in a few years.
Hello Glenn, it's Kerry Ann here from Liberty Trust. Did you just receive a letter from us regarding an interest-free loan offer?
I think I cried when I first heard I'd got it. I was just overwhelmed, really.
Debt of any nature brings a lack of freedom. You're sort of bound to something, so the opportunity to be free of that, I think, just provides opportunity.
It's wonderful, really. I remember when we got ours, it is a load off your back, and there's a sense of liberty and freedom and joy, really. Yeah, there's a real release.
What a real difference it makes when you see the same amount of money is going out, but no longer is it 90% interest and 10% principal. It is 100% principle.
You know, you treat your contribution as a donation to bless someone, and then whenever you give, it always comes back, and it always comes back at the right time.
Even for us, it's still hard to believe that we're paying off our mortgage like this, big chunks. It's incredible. It's an amazing feeling.
We'll have our mortgage paid off in a couple of years. We're looking at about 3 or 4 years and it'll be paid off. Whereas with a bank situation, we'll be looking at another 15 to 20 years at least.
Liberty Trust has a heart for missions and is a member of Missions Interlink New Zealand and Vision Network New Zealand, and supports other Christian ministries.
One of the dreams that I had from day one, I remember saying it at the very first meeting, is I'm dreaming that my children will never pay mortgage interest. And what we're seeing is families having that same dream, that once they're free, they're now starting to contribute for their children, and it's becoming transgenerational.
Our children were out of debt in the early 30s and able to use not only their money, instead of paying mortgage or rent, but also their time to invest into whatever they believe God was leading them into. That's been the greatest thrill.
We thought it was so good that we ran some more for our children.
We have shared in depth with our children, letting them know that the only reason we were able to build this home, for instance, was because we sowed for years without getting anything in return and without looking for anything in return.
It's an instant world, and yet liberty is not instant. You actually sow into somebody else's field before you will reap yourself. And we've got to be patient, but the rewards are far greater when you take the big picture of life.
I would advise people to go ahead and try the Liberty Trust.
If you want to benefit from their knowledge, biblical financial advice and interest-free loan, give Liberty Trust a call on 0800 LIB Trust or email info@libertytrust.org.nz. The website www.libertytrust.org.nz contains more information as well as application forms. Liberty Trust. Working together, we can provide interest-free liberty for the body of Christ.